every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News, broadcasting live from our Lagos studio. Here are our top stories for tonight. I am Sarah Ayoku, and here are the news in full. As part of efforts aimed at improving on the nation's energy mix, the federal government and solar power promoters have a brainstorming and familiarization session, which the Power Works and Housing Minister describes as a step in the right direction. Our correspondent, Kozim Kasali, tells us more.
The minister, speaking shortly after the meeting, disclosed that the federal government will take power from all available sources. He added that the meeting comes at a critical time for the industry.
Options for incremental power. You know, I've been talking about our strategy, our roadmap from incremental to steady to uninterrupted power. So we're walking our talk. We're looking at every place where we can get energy.
The major point of discourse in the meeting for all participants is that of pricing, with the permanent secretary, Power, profiling a three-pronged panacea.
Any of you third track who believe that by meeting, discussing collaboratively, you can bring your tariff down sufficiently to re-engage with NBET and come up with a tariff which presumably will be about or lower than that competitive procurement process.
The meeting later in the communique agreed on the desirability of renewable energy as part of the energy mix, while also urging promoters to work with regulators to iron out grey areas. Kozim Kasali, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, the Northeast Zonal Chapter of the People's Democratic Party is endorsing the interim national chairman of the party, Ali Modu Sharif, for the position of national chairman of the party ahead of the May 21 National Convention in Port Harcourt. The endorsement was made at the Northeast Zonal Congress held at Jalingo, the state capital of Taraba State. Our correspondent, Odwak Godwin, tells us more.
It is a new beginning for the People's Democratic Party in the Northeast, as they choose those who run their phase of the party at the zonal level for the next 4 years. 450 delegates unanimously arrived at a consensus to share all the elective positions for the entire states of the region. It was a hitch-free exercise as members of the 6 states collectively accept the decision of the working committee on sharing the position without going into election. The party maintains and believes that the decision to share all the elective positions is based on the party's agreement.
After heavy consultation, comparison of notes, persuasion, give and take, which is very important in any political situation where selecting leaders is involved.
And that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the People's Democratic Party,
and defend the Constitution of the People's Democratic Party,
and that of the Federal Republic of Nigeria,
and that of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
So help me God.
So help me God.
The Northeast PDP governors, in their goodwill messages, encouraged the oneness displayed by members, thereafter endorsing Ali Modu Sharif as their candidate for the upcoming National Convention.
Modu Sharif is full of energy, He is a grassroots politician. He is forthright, has a strong drive, and easily mixes and makes friends. I would want to humbly suggest that Alimadu Sheriff should be our candidate when we go for the national convention.
Let us set aside all our differences. Let us build the party so that at the end of the party, when we have a house and a roof like this, we can enter inside, and if there are issues, to settle within ourselves.
An elated Sheriff thanked the leadership and delegates of the party in the Northeast for the confidence reposed in his leadership and prompting him to be their sole candidate.
I am here to unite the party. I am here to take PDP to victory. Amen. Therefore, the good, the bad, and the ugly is all mine. Amen. And I'd like to appeal to everybody that I will carry everybody on board.
The party lost the last general election to the APC after holding the reins of power for 16 years. Ready to get back to power come 2019, the emergence of new leaders of the party at the National Congress may just be the leeway. Udwa Godwin, CoreTV News, Jalingo.
More drama still erupting as the national leadership of the People's Democratic Party has accused Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose of causing confusion in the party. It says the governor was behind the plan to hold the Southwest Zonal Congress in Akure, Ondo State on Saturday, despite the court order which asked the party to suspend the exercise. The PDP National Secretary Wale Oladipo says the party had decided to obey the order of Justice Ibrahim Buba of a federal high court in Lagos, which restrained the party from going ahead with its Zonal Congress. The judge had ruled on an expert application brought before him by the incumbent PDP Southwest Zonal Secretary Begba Otemolu and restrained the party from going ahead with the scheduled Congress. Meanwhile, Ogun State chapter of the People's Democratic Party and the Unity Party of Nigeria have commiserated with the families of the victims of a building being built by the state government, which collapsed in Abeokuta, the state capital. The parties also called for the probe of the contractors that handle the construction of the building. Furthermore, the PDP and UPN described some of the projects being executed by the government as shoddy. Meanwhile, survivors of the building collapse are in stable condition and the recorded number of deaths remain at 2. The federal government has successfully conducted a feasibility study towards recharging the Lake Chad through interbasin water transfer from Congo Basin at an estimated cost of $15 billion. This is part of the project envisioned to transform the region into a more stable economic hub after the counter-terrorism and counter-insurgency operations against the Boko Haram terrorists in parts of the northeast. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, disclosed this on the sidelines during the just concluded second regional security meeting in Abuja. Onyema notes that even though the figure is a rough estimate, it is going to be executed under a public-private partnership arrangement when it comes into force. In the same vein, the Executive Secretary, Lake Chad Basin Commission, Sanusi Abdullahi, gave a few details about the planned interbasin recharging of Lake Chad as part of grand post-conflict rebuilding projects in the region. Abdullahi says, with the war on terror gradually reaching the finish line, now is the time to aggressively turn attention to the implementation of development projects and programs to facilitate the rebuilding of those critical areas in the northeast of Nigeria, the far north of Cameroon, the Lake region of Chad, and the Difa and Zinda regions of Niger affected by Boko Haram insurgencies, as well as the Central African Republic's war. Also speaking, the Commander Multinational Joint Task Force, Lamidi Adeosun, notes that the humanitarian situation within their area of operation remains very critical. Adeosun maintains that there are 11 IDPs and 3 refugee camps within the area of responsibility. In other news now, a bloody exchange of gunfire between some operatives of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps and suspected Niger Delta militants has led to the death of 3 members of the gang and left 2 officials of the Corps injured. During the incident, which took place along Snake Creeks in Nimbe, Bayelsa State, many of the suspected hoodlums who reportedly attacked the NSCDC personnel were said to have fled with gunshot injuries. Security operatives have recently become the targets of militants and sea pirates in the Niger Delta region, leading to the death of at least 10 soldiers and naval officers in the last 1 month. Confirmed the latest attack, Desmond Agu, commandant of the NSCDC in the state, notes that his men were on patrol when they came under fire from the suspected criminals. After the ensuing gun battle, 3 of the assailants were killed while the rest escaped with gunshot injuries. Meanwhile, 2 NSCDC personnel also sustained minor gunshot injuries but have been treated and discharged from the Federal Medical Center. And still on Niger Delta militants' action, the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengasan, has urged the federal government to tackle the resurgence of militancy and oil pipelines vandalism in the Niger Delta region. The president of the association, Francis Olabode Johnson, made the call in Calabar. According to Olabode Johnson, the current fight against pipeline vandalism and crude oil theft in the region has not recorded the desired success and needed to be intensified as the act has continued. It says the country continues to lose huge revenue owing to the bombing of oil pipelines by militants, stressing that the federal government should effectively check the activities of militants and pipeline vandals in the Niger Delta region. The Pengasan boss added that modern technologies should be used in such a way that vandals could not access the region. Olabode Johnson further appeals to the security agencies protecting the pipelines to be more resolute in carrying out their assignments. In other news, still troops of 21 Brigade on Operation Crackdown inside Sambisa Forest have arrested a wanted alleged leader of the Boko Haram sect, Sulaiman Umaru, deep in Sambisa Forest. According to the acting director, Army Public Relations Officer, Colonel Sani Kukasheka Usman, the gallant troops were also attacked but successfully repelled the insurgents' firepower. The troops further followed up with mopping out operations of the general area before advancing. During the operation, 2 AK-47 rifles, 2 rocket-propelled grenade bombs, 5 rifle magazines, mortar bombs, and a belt of machine gun rounds were recovered. 5 soldiers were, however, wounded in the action and have been evacuated to the rear for treatment. 12 persons have been killed by Fulani herdsmen in a recent attack at Tafi village, Beneve ward in Buruku local government area. The attack also left many villagers with varying degrees of injuries, while several others are still missing and are unaccounted for. Eyewitnesses say the herdsmen marched through the village, burning down houses, huts, farmland, food ban, and any property that belonged to the indigenous people. Meanwhile, the Benue State Police Public Relations Officer, Moses Yamu, who confirmed the attack, says the police recorded only 5 deaths after the incident, adding that the command is on top of the situation. The Commissioner of Police in Enugu State, Emmanuel Ojukwu, has warned people spreading rumor of impending attack of some communities in the state to desist from it, saying there is no substance in this story. A statement signed by the police spokesman in the command, Ebere Amaraizu, Ojukwu says anybody found to be spreading the rumor would be prosecuted. The statement is sequel to the media reports that some communities in the state will be attacked by suspected herdsmen. Describing the reports as rumor, Ojukwu says the comments are capable of causing panic and fear in law-abiding citizens of the state. He, however, reveals that measures have been put in place for the safety and security of communities through relevant partnership with stakeholders to ensure that there was peace across the state. We'll go on a break now and return with more stories from across Nigeria. Just stay with us.
VAT, Value Added Tax, is a tax paid on all goods and services and remitted by the seller of the goods or provider of the service to government. 5% VAT is added to the total cost of goods and services in Nigeria, and when remitted to government is used for funding development. The VAT you pay will be used by government to develop our transport infrastructure like roads and railway lines, to continually improve our educational sector by building more schools and upgrading existing ones, to provide adequate security and a better quality of life for us all. Pay your VAT. Make your contributions to the development of Nigeria. It pays to pay your tax. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
Welcome back. You're watching CoreTV Primetime News, broadcasting live from our Lagos studio. Here is a recap of our top stories for tonight. You can get the stories and more on our social media platforms, facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow at our Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. You can watch our videos on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoreTV, level space then news. Governor Akinwumi Ambode of Lagos State has identified dysfunctional family background as one of the major reasons for rising cases of domestic violence, just as he advocated the need for parents to imbibe in their wards the virtues of honesty, respect, morality, and good levelness, peace, and love. Ambode, who spoke at the Lagos House at the Family Day celebration hosted by the state government in commemoration of the International Family Day, says a lot of acts of terror and violence that have ruptured global peace and security could be traced to the absence of strong family ties, and as such, parents must spend time with their children, no matter how difficult it may be. The governor described the family as the smallest but most important unit of the society, saying things can only go right in the country if first addressed in the family. Furthermore, wife of the governor, Bolanle Ambode, says without communication, social interaction, love, and mutual respect for one another, the family can hardly be united or peaceful. She adds that women and children deserve to be respected and pampered because such actions are needed to avoid domestic violence. And in Plateau State, residents are bemoaning the decision of the federal government to increase the pump price of petrol at this period. They said the current economic hardship, coupled with several months of unpaid salary, makes it immoral for the Buhari-led administration to implement the increase of the pump price of fuel, due to the ripple effect it will have on the economy. Our Kaduna State correspondent tells us more.
Some of the residents who were at the queue to buy fuel at the new pump price of 145 naira say only the NNPC mega stations are selling at the new price, while independent marketers are selling above the amount.
From 86.5 to 145 naira this morning, you know, it will have a kind of an economic shift or shock effect.
Even at 86 naira 86.50, you can hardly see the fuel. We have not finished with that. We have gone to 145. That is government price. I don't know how the other independent marketers will sell.
Speaking on the implication on the economy, an economist, financial consultant, and a former state lawmaker, Meshach Chindaba, says prices of goods and services will no doubt increase, but noted that if fully implemented, the review will bring to an end the current fuel scarcity in the country.
The government has to make sure that the poorest of the poor are taken into consideration, because we cannot again have a situation wherein it's only the rich that will benefit from all these adjustments.
He, however, called for the upward review of workers' salaries to meet the current economic realities.
And in the view of the failure of employers of labor to pay their workers as it went due, both in the private and public sectors of Plateau State, the presidents have taken to tailoring to weather the storm of economic hardship. In this report, our correspondent spoke with some of fashion designers who bore their minds on the profitability and challenges in tailoring.
Tailoring has become a favorable alternative for the young and old in Plateau State who wishes to sustain their livelihood comfortably in face of the current economic challenges. Several residents said the main purpose for venturing into the tailoring business is because it is doable anywhere one finds himself, and that it is a suitable alternative to the white-collar job.
I'm planning towards my retirement.
I joined it because of the money and the fashion.
Be passionate about it before the money comes.
A tailor is a person who makes repairs or alter clothing professionally. Although the term tailoring dates back to the 13th century, tailoring took its modern sense from the 18th century. Fashion design is influenced by social and cultural attitudes. Those who design take into consideration the occasion the clothing are meant for. To get trained as a professional tailor in Plateau State, it takes a minimum of 2 years and a fee of 10,000 naira.
Depending on how good you are, highest 2 years. No matter how tall you are, let's say 2 years.
Yes. Or 4 years.
The downside of the profession is the habitual disappointment customers get from the tailors who often fail to deliver at appointed dates. Some of the tailors gave reasons why a customer could be disappointed and how it could be avoided.
Not only the tailor disappointed, even the customer disappointed too.
By working harder, looking for seeking opinion from advanced people.
So in terms of my own case, I do tell them that my conscience is in their pockets.
Another thing, sometimes why tailors disappoint customers sometimes due to have a lot of work.
At times we used to sleep in the shop.
Jos residents who often patronize tailors narrate the pain they went through whenever their tailor fails to deliver on due date.
I felt very bad. What I told him to sew for me, he did not sew it.
They give you a date. Most of the times you find a person behind.
Yeah, he actually saw it at a particular time. I want to pick it. I can't pick it, and that's all.
Use your material for the purpose, which they will still disappoint you.
Customer satisfaction is important for the survival of any business. Handcraft jobs are proven to be viable alternatives for the unavailable white-collar jobs in Nigeria today.
Very interesting. And away from that, we're still in Plateau State. The commander for the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Solomon Olashupo, has promised to work assiduously for peace in the state. Solomon made the promise when he visited the chairman of the Plateau State Traditional Council, Jacob Buba and Bongbong Jos. And now here's the report.
The new NSCDC state commander, who was on a familiarization visit to Bongbong Jos, Jacob Buba, said his primary goal in Plateau State is to consolidate on the current level of peace in the state, adding that traditional rulers need to be carried along in the continuous search for peace.
My main program will be peace building. Everybody, especially our traditional ruler, must be involved.
He urged other security agencies in the state to adequately inform the royal fathers in their activities because they are the custodian of the culture of the people and everyone in their domain is known to them.
There is no point debating whether traditional rulers have roles to play in the maintenance of law and order in our society.
Though a measure of peace has been achieved in Plateau State, many are of the opinion that more need to be done for the attainment of lasting peace.
In other states now, as part of efforts to ensure that National Youth Service Corps members give their best, the Niger State government says awards will henceforth be given to corps members who distinguish themselves. Governor Abubakar Bello, who spoke after the NYSC 2016 Bache closing ceremony in the state, says the award is meant to encourage corps members to put their best foot forward in their respective places of primary assignment. A total number of 1,638 NYSC members posted to the state successfully participated in the 3-week orientation exercise. Sokoto South local government area of Sokoto State says it has concluded plans to immunize 95,800 children in the ongoing May immunization program. The Director of Health in the area, Ahmed Ladan, discloses that the state government has since provided 115,000 doses of the oral polio vaccine to the council to ensure that a targeted number of children are fully covered. According to LADAN, 664 teams, each comprising of 4 health personnel, community, religious and voluntary community mobilizers, among others, will be conducting the exercise in 11 wards of the area. He explains that the team comprised fixed posts, house-to-house, hospital and market teams, among others. LADAN further adds that the local government council had set up 11 health camps which are operating simultaneously with the polio immunization exercise. And in Kwara State, an Ilorin High Court has ordered that the University of Ilorin to settle its outstanding tax liability of 970 million naira to the Kwara State Internal Revenue Service. The presiding judge, Bayo Yusuf, gave this ruling at the Kwara State High Court. According to Yusuf, the application for stay of execution by the University of Ilorin on the judgment earlier given in favor of the Revenue Service is not valid and is now subsequently dismissed by the court. Reading his ruling, Honorable Justice Yusuf ordered that the University of Ilorin, being the judgment debtor, pay 100 million naira on or before May 31st, 2016, and 50 million naira monthly until the 970 million naira is liquidated accordingly. He adds that interest accrued on the liabilities should be paid as well. This judgment is seen as a major victory for the Kwara State Internal Revenue Service and the beginning of recovery of all outstanding liabilities owed the Kwara State government. The need for understanding of the nation's political history and its region outstanding past has begun, being emphasized as an important part of efforts aimed at ensuring Nigerians take their place in the Committee of Nations. The Information and Culture Minister, in his speech at the unveiling of the exhibition, urges Nigerians to strive to know more about the nation's political history. Our correspondent, Kozim Kasali, tells us more.
The history of a people and its past, according to some, shapes its future. This obviously seems to be the rationale behind the opening of this photo exhibition, chronicling the political history of Nigeria, put together by the National Gallery of Arts. The exhibition, which features independence leaders Obafemi Awolowo, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Ahmadu Bello and Tafawa Balewa, and the first cabinet through to the present administration, brings to the fore its rich history. According to the Information Minister, Lai Mohammed, this exhibition is a reminder to all Nigerians that the nation's past is rich and should be treasured.
You are not only going to see pictures, you are also going to see our works of art, because we believe that this country is blessed, and that if only we can change our attitudes to the creative arts, to creative industry, we'll be able not only turn around the economy, but we'll also be able to reach out and employ largely those people in the rural areas.
The exhibition, according to the Permanent Secretary, will remain open all through the month of May.
I also want to take a moment to just reiterate that teamwork is extremely important. So I want to use this opportunity to thank the collective efforts of the National Gallery for Arts, the National Council for Arts and Culture, the National Commission for Museums and Monuments, the National Archives, and other agencies of the ministry for their dedication and passion in putting this exhibition together.
The exhibition is an opportunity for all Nigerians to look back through the times at the political history of this nation and a great future as the Buhari administration clocks one. Kozim Kasali, CoreTV News, Abuja.
In other news now, the Managing Director of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, Saleh Dunoma, has inaugurated the Lagos runway safety teams in compliance with Resolution A376 of the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO. Udoma says the team to ensure strict compliance to ICAO standards in carrying out their duties. He also encourages that to ensure the certification of all airports in Nigeria. The functions of the team, according to the FAN Director of Airport Operation, Henry Omegu, includes advising management on potential runway safety issues, recommending strategies for hazard removal, mitigating residual risk, and ensuring strict compliance with ICAO standards in all airside operations. We'll take a break now and return with more stories from outside Nigeria and in the world of sports. To stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
CoreTV News now live on all Androids.
Welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
Download CoreTV News app from your Play Store. Click on the menu to see all our top stories from politics, sports, business, foreign news and live TV to watch us live on your mobile.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
You can also click on video to see all our YouTube videos. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
And on the foreign scene, an Egyptian court has sentenced 71 people to 2 years in prison for protest against the handover of 2 Red Sea islands to Saudi Arabia. Parents and friends of the defendants burst into tears and cried out in shock after learning of the verdict outside the Cairo courthouse. Defense lawyer Osam and Ahmed Abdul Latif confirmed the verdict, which they said can be appealed. 33 defendants were present in the court, while the rest had been released on bail. The deal to hand over the islands in the Straits of Tiran and galvanized dissidents who opposed President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. In the lead-up to the protests, police already made dozens of arrests to discourage a repeat of a large rally on April 15, at which demonstrators chanted for the fall of the regime. The Islamic State group has staged a suicide attack on a gas factory near Baghdad, in which 14 people were killed and 20 wounded. The assault began when 3 car bombs exploded at the gate of the plant in Taji, north of the capital. Reports indicate that 6 men wearing explosive belts rushed in and blew up gas tanks before security forces won back the facility. ISIS, which controls large parts of western and northern Iraq, has stepped up attacks in Baghdad recently and has also claimed the latest incident, which began after dawn on the Taji facility 20 kilometers north of Baghdad. An attack as claimed by the Islamic State group has killed at least 25 people in southern Yemen. Officials say the bomber detonated its explosives outside a police base in the port city of Mukalla, killing recruits as they queued up outside the building. Islamic State's jihadist rival Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula was forced out of the Mukalla last month by Saudi-led military coalition. The conflict in Yemen has displaced 2 million people since 2011. Hospitals in Mukalla are also treating at least 25 people wounded in the attack. The bombing is in the second such attack in Mukalla claimed by the Islamic State since the Al-Qaeda withdrawal from the city. And still on the foreign scene, 8 people have been killed and 44 others injured as a coach carrying people to a casino crashed in Texas, United States. Policemen say the driver lost control and the bus rolled over on Highway 83, about 46 kilometers north of Laredo, despite no other vehicle being involved. 7 people died at the scene and 1 other died later in the hospital. Meanwhile, the police say the cause of the crash is still being investigated. And in the world of sports,
power style, and that's what he delivered.
British number 1 Andy Murray has won his first Italian Open title with a 6-3, 6-3 victory over top seed Novak Djokovic in Rome. It was the first win on clay just against Djokovic in 5 attempts for the Scot, who turned 29 on Sunday. He broke serve once in the first set and twice in the second to win in 1 hour and 35 minutes. Murray will return to the world number 2 ranking ahead of the French Open at Roland Garros, which begins on May 22. It broke the world #1 early in the first set, leaving Djokovic, who beat the score in last week's Madrid Open final, visibly frustrated and exchanging words with the umpire Damien Stenner. Furthermore, a depth drop shot at set point saw Murray take the opener 6-3 amid light rain in Rome. Murray then fought back from breakpoint down to old serve in the second set before staving off another 2 in his next service game. A frustrated 28-year-old Djokovic complained the rain was making the Foro Italico surface too dangerous, but he was told to continue by the umpire, and Murray immediately broke the world #1. Murray then moved within a game of victory, and the pressure started to tell on Djokovic. 7 to stay in the contest, the Serb double faltered to end Murray match point, and the court duly closed out the match. Serena Williams beat Madison Keys in straight set to win the Italian Open, a first WTA title in 9 months. The world #1 beat a fellow American 7-6, 7-5, 6-3 to triumph in Rome for the 4th time since 2002. 34-year-old Williams last won a title in Cincinnati in August 2015 and has since lost finals at the US Open, Australian Open and Indian Wells. She will begin the defense of a French Open title when the tournament gets underway next Sunday. Williams showed the value of experience as she claimed a 70th career title in an 89th final, with Keys playing only a second. Keys 21 broke serve in the opening game and matched Williams for power throughout, but a loose service game allowed the top seed to level at 3-3. Williams edged the tie-break, sealing it with a heavy serve and raced into a 3-0 lead in the second. 2 poor games followed, suggesting the 21-time Grand Slam champion is stiff some way from a best, but she saw out of the set and the match after 1 hour and 24 minutes. Red Bull's Max Verstappen became the youngest winner in F1 history as Mercedes' Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg crashed out of the Spanish Grand Prix. Hamilton and Rosberg came together on lap 1 as the world champion tried to pass his team, leaving Red Bull and Ferrari to dispute the race. 18-year-old Verstappen held off Ferrari's Kimi Raikkonen after teammate Daniel Ricciardo took a 3-stop strategy. He made his 2-stop strategy work to seal a thrilling race near Barcelona. And still in sports, a controlled explosion has been carried out at the Old Trafford after a suspect package was found ahead of Manchester United's match against Bournemouth. Greater Manchester police described the device as incredibly lifelike, but later confirmed it wasn't viable. The Sir Alex Ferguson stand and the Stratford end were evacuated before the game and sniffer dogs brought in. Kickoff due at 3 p.m. was delayed, and shortly afterwards the match was abandoned on police advice. A bomb disposal team carried out the explosion at about 4:30 p.m. And that's it on sports news and on CoreTV Primetime News. But before we go, let's have a reminder of our top stories for tonight. From all of us at CoreTV News here in Lagos, we want to say thank you so much for watching. I am Sarah Ayeko. Do a good habit. Good night rest.